Let's talk about Richmond. They're one of the most intriguing cases heading into 2023. So finished 7th last year, eliminated in the first week of finals, of course. They've gained Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper, and that's brought a lot of excitement for Tigers fans. How do you think the Tigers will go in 2023, Jono? I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, they'll be strong. They'll off the back of what they were able to get to last year, and then with the recruits of Taranto and Hopper in the midfield, it adds a layer of strength straight away that I think they need. Although in saying that, I think even Taranto and Hopper and a couple of the other mids from the first practice game, a real eye-opener in terms of working from the contest. Melbourne destroyed them out at Casey. So I think they'll look at that and have to do a lot of work mentally over the next couple of weeks to get themselves set for their first real contest in the home and away season, because that was the most disappointing thing from that game. And Prestia's a loss. He's the one for me. When Prestia plays, Richmond's midfield's very good. I think he's their best midfielder when he's out there. So, again, injured. That's the only other little concern that I've got for the Tigers. But structurally, I think they're in a lot better place and will compete this year, no question.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing Hopper and Taranto in the pre-season matches. Then you had, at one stage, Martin Bolton and Trent Cotchin in the forward line. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the Tigers go about this.
It is, and it's going to be fascinating to see how that works for them. Offensively, that forward mix sounds pretty good. But just defensively, I've got some slight questions, because when you look at Cumberland, Cotchin, Martin, Shea Bolton when he's down there, and Rioli, their pressure ratings are all sort of below average or average. They're not elite pressure. And when you think of Richmond's premiership teams and that relentless in the front half, it was off the back of Castagna and Butler, Rioli when he used to play there, Edwards, Jack Graham, those type of guys. So last year, they struggled to stop the opposition moving the ball from one end of the field to the other, and their pressure rating was poor. So have they addressed that? That's going to be something for me. We know their system stacks up. We know they've got talent and they'll be thereabouts. But has their system and maybe their talent, a few other teams have maybe gone past them? They're all playing the similar way now, and maybe there are some hungrier, younger teams that might just go over the top of Richmond, but they'll still be thereabouts.
Everyone's worried about playing Richmond. In full flight, Richmond puts you to the sword every time they get the ball. But I do think that Damien Hardwick has been operating of two of the three facets of the game. He's never really been able to compete with the contested and clearance angle. You get Hopper and you get Taranto in, and all of a sudden you can beat opposition teams with all three modes of the game: defence, on offence, and now at clearance. I think Taranto's a total star. I think he's going to have a huge impact on the Tigers. I think he'll be considered a top 5 player in the competition at the end of the year. He's an elite ball winner. He's a best and fairest winner at GWS when they were absolutely low flying. He's 25 years of age. He comes to a squad, and if Prestia's not there, he's even more valuable, because he's their hit-2 player, a gun runner who'll get involved on the overlap. And again, the domino effect, you just touched on it. If you've got Hopper and Taranto in there, Martin stays inside 30. He's never kicked more than 37 goals. What happens if he kicks 50 goals for the year?
Yeah, that's what Damien Hardwick seemed most excited about during the pre-season matches, and what he can do now, knowing that Taranto and Hopper are there.
But, Jono, the durability is an issue with this Richmond side. A lot of them now are starting to accumulate some injuries consistently. So they need to have a squad that's fully fit and healthy, I think, to really challenge some of the teams that we've already mentioned off the top. So hopefully they can stay fit and healthy.
Sorry, Joe. It's on their terms versus when the game's not. And I just want to see that adjustment when it's not on their terms. That will determine how far they go in September, if they can get that right during the year. Because on their terms, they will dominate teams with the players you mentioned before.
They won 13 games last year, and they lost 4 of 5 decided by less than 10 points. Like, they are there. Yep. They are there and getting better.
So, predictions, where do we see them finishing?
Well, I think they'll play finals. I still think they'll play finals. I have got 3 or 4 teams ahead of them at this stage. But as Kingy said, you don't really want to be coming up against the Richmond side.
You've gone top 4,
fully fit and firing.
Yeah, no, I really like their lineup. I think there's some issues down back with their defensive 50. Bolter goes down there and he'll start the season down back. And I don't know where Tarrant's at the moment or who that fullback actually is. But Grimes, they've got scope to improve. But I just think they're going to win more ball. They're going to win more ball and get into their forward half with Riewoldt, Lynch, Martin, Cotchin. Everyone's talking down Trent Cotchin. He can kick goals. He can hit the scoreboard, and if he doesn't, I think the opposition will be under enough pressure as it is with weight of numbers. So it's a changing Richmond profile that I love.
Yep. And you've gone finals as well.
Yep.